With just 5 races remaining in the season, normally the development race would be over, with teams shifting focus towards next year's car. But this year is a little bit different, as the regulations staying the same means that whatever learnings teams make at these final few races directly will reflect on the development of 2024's cars. And with another sprint weekend on our hands at Austin, let's talk about what we can expect in terms of upgrades, especially from the likes of McLaren, Aston Martin, Ferrari, and Mercedes. Let's start this video with McLaren. The Qatar Grand Prix was the best weekend McLaren has enjoyed this season. Not only did both McLaren drivers bring home a double podium result during the race, but Oscar Piastri was able to beat Max Verstappen during the sprint to secure the sprint win. If we take a look at pace numbers, the MCL 60 was actually faster than the Red Bull car, but that is mostly down to the tire wear and the maximum stint lengths allowed during the race. Still, the McLaren car was the second fastest, and very much closer to Red Bull than we ever expected. The car, after the Japanese Grand Prix upgrades, has gained pace in all types of corners, and with the Austin circuit consisting of corner profiles from low to high speed, combined with one very long straight, means that there is yet another weekend where McLaren will be Red Bull's closest challengers. The Woking-based squad, despite its advantage on the rest of the field, still has plans in place for this year's development race, which will see some new parts being introduced at the Circuit of the Americas. First, the team will retain its high downforce package for this weekend's Grand Prix, considering the circuit's downforce requirements. The MCL 60 still is a car which works its tires harder, which means the tire degradation is high. So to improve around that factor, the team has some upgrades planned around the floor edges of the car, alongside a diffuser upgrade. The floor edges upgrade will focus on improving the wake towards the tires, alongside channeling strong high-energy airflow towards the car's Coke bottle area. The diffuser upgrade will primarily focus on improving the car's rear load generation, which could prove beneficial while trying to improve tire degradation. Since the season started, McLaren have come a long way positively in improving the car tire degradation, but still, it is to be seen if McLaren can actually have good tire performance while hitting consistent fast lap times during a race stint, as we did not see that during the Qatar Grand Prix. Next up on the list is Aston Martin. The Qatar Grand Prix was once again a weekend to forget for the Silverstone team. Stroll's lack of form continued both in the sprint and Grand Prix, while Fernando Alonso kept his head down and picked up the pieces up front, scoring 8 points during Sunday's race. Since the upgrade the team introduced in Canada, the team has moved on a negative trajectory, losing pace to Ferrari, Mercedes, and McLaren. The AMR 23 lacks consistency and is suffering from high tire degradation. Both of these could pose a lot of problems at the Austin GP, where the tire degradation will be high, and the circuit has varying corner speed profiles. But the team has huge upgrades lined up to solve many of these issues, and to improve the car's consistent pace around the Circuit of the Americas. The upgrades will revolve around the car's side pods, front and rear winglets, floor edges, and the underfloor. The side pods upgrade will put emphasis on the undercut, to work the airflow differently than what it is doing currently, to feed much cleaner airflow towards the Coke bottle area. The upgrades surrounding the underfloor and the floor edges will focus on working downforce generation on a consistent pattern, along with improving the car's rear downforce generation when traveling around high-speed corners. And the team is hopeful that these upgrades will also improve the car's aerodynamic efficiency a little bit, improving the AMR 23's straight line speed. Next, let's talk about Ferrari. The Italian racing team experienced a rather non-eventful Qatar Grand Prix in terms of racing. The SF23 was around the 4th or the 5th fastest car around the Lusail International Circuit. The sprint was okay for Ferrari, while bad news struck for the race from Carlos Sainz, as he was not able to take part in the Grand Prix due to a fuel leak. Charles on the solitary Ferrari finished P5, bringing home 10 points. Other than that, we can call the Qatar weekend a decent outing for the Scuderia. Considering the car's current performance, we can call the Austin GP also another decent weekend for Ferrari, but the Italian team has planned upgrades for this upcoming weekend. This is part of its planned package, which we have talked about before, related to the team gaining 4/10 of performance relative to Red Bull's pace. This upgrade package will emphasize changes to the side pods design to work more on the downwash. My guess would be for Ferrari to test a little bit of water slide, just as Mercedes has done with its side pods. The next change is to be made around the diffuser profile. The SF23 car is efficient enough, as we can see from its top speed numbers, and with recent upgrades, its DRS efficiency has only been second to Red Bull this season. But where the car lacks is to rotate the center of aerodynamic pressure more rearwards when the car is picking up speed, simply meaning the car lacks rear downforce at high speed. This has resulted in a lack of pace on medium and high-speed corners, alongside high tire degradation. So the team has planned to make improvements to the rear end of the car, along with the diffuser. Simple tweaks to the floor edges can be expected, considering the revisions made to the side pods and to the car's rear end. This should be the most for Ferrari's development race this season, other than track-specific parts arriving in the last 4 races of the season. Next, let's talk about Mercedes. After the horrendous show at Qatar, the Silver Arrows will be looking to bounce back at Austin. Mercedes has a major upgrade lined up for the upcoming weekend, and that is the underfloor upgrade. James Allison confirmed this upgrade and mentioned it was not a performance upgrade, but a means of testing their new direction, mainly to check if the car is still porpoising or not with its newest batch of ideas. "We would like to get rid of the bouncing completely," said James Allison. "Many teams are still dealing with a bit of bouncing, and this can also vary depending on the wind or the wake conditions or not. Hopefully it will give us a bit of lap time," he said. That's always a benefit, but it is mostly a useful thing because it's a bellwether for whether we're on the right track. In lap time terms, it will be small, useful, but don't expect us to have leaped past Max Verstappen. Due to how ground effect cars work, porpoising should always be a consideration for all teams, especially for Mercedes. Mercedes in 2022 went with a very low ride height, and the car bounced everywhere. This year, they raised the car, and it is just slow everywhere. So before moving on next season, should figure out the optimal ride height to generate maximum downforce without running into porpoising issues. The team also would want to test out the new philosophy's performance on a wide range of corner profiles. The Austin weekend is a sprint race, so the team will have just one practice session to dial in their new floor and to find the perfect working setups for their drivers for the events moving forward. That is a tall order, but not impossible. Before ending the video, I just wanted to talk about Haas, as their upgrades are just huge, second to none. For the VF23, Haas is going to introduce upgrades, transforming their car into a near B-spec version. The team will make a massive overhaul surrounding its side pods and underfloor. The team is the only team running the scalloping side pods in the entire grid, but that is about to change, as Haas will become the latest team to adopt the downwashing side pods concept. Along with that revision, the team will introduce a new floor spec to work alongside the top body aerodynamics. Along these two main parts, the team will also revise the designs of cooling shafts, cooling gills, engine covers, brake linings, and heat shields. All of these changes are made to accommodate the revisions made to the side pods design. For the home team this weekend, I really hope this upgrade would allow either Kevin or Nico to sneak in and score some points, which would make Gunther a lot happier. With the race weekend coming ever so close, and with Austin hosting yet another sprint weekend, what are your expectations for the United States Grand Prix? Which team with the potential upgrades do you think will be the closest to the Red Bulls at the Circuit of the Americas? Very much into your thoughts and perspectives in the comments section below. And on your way down, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified of our future uploads, to keep yourselves up to date about the 2023 Formula One season.